Yeah, it definitely will be. Again, it's an issue of how do you fight into those team fights that Cignal Ultra has. Can they hold off the push the Tidehunter wants to bring out? And their own farm distribution as well. Like the TA Inspector needs some pretty early farm. I'd say much more pressure here on Abed to find that. In an unfavorable lane, it's never fun for the TA to play from behind. So we'll see if Among Us can kind of secure that. There's a lot of expectations here on Zephyr, on that support Tiny, to buy that space out. We'll see. I mean, today's headline was like draft beyond your imaginations. Looks like both sides took that to heart, Mike. They really are drafting beyond their imaginations. Yeah, they have been a little bit more experimental. Would March in here?
30 seconds to battle. Oh,
oh, too bad, March. You stuck with us for groups. That's what you get, March. That's what you get. Oh, of course. Of course. It is. Oh, man. We'll see how these lanes break out. Of course, you will have a Spectre Phoenix lane. Now, that lane doesn't sound particularly exciting. It's just the nature of Spectre, right? Even if you add a hero on top of it, it's not the most active hero, and they did manage to deny Rune, so it's a 2-for-1 start. No, it's going to be an even 3-for-1 start. So Cignal Ultra finding the edge in the Rune trade should set themselves up well.
oh,
Yeah, it's a tough one for Abed. You can see him just clapping away. That's all he can do now. He is ready with an extra set of tangos, but he'll have to rip right into them as James, he's not giving him room to breathe, and this is going to be an issue. We talked about the TA. It doesn't want to play from behind. We're going to have to look at the supports to maybe build up stacks or get that rotation in at the 4-minute mark to relieve that pressure, but Abed's going to have to try to salvage that as the other lanes are still developing as well. Spectre, Phoenix lane, not that amazing. You're seeing Ares again just getting the positioning, looking for a skewer.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
First blood.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, March, I'm sorry, but still, really good place from Ares. He cuts that tree line, he goes for the skewer again, making this level 1 skewer work, and this is just the issue with Spectre Phoenix. It's not a very offensive lane. It takes a lot of EXP to get up and running, and they do hit their level 2 marks, but Van hits level 2 as well. He's got Gush and Anchor Smash ready, which means that every time IYD comes in for a last hit, you're just not contesting well.
Do you even practice?
Lakad mo to to!
Normally.
Lakad mo to to!
Normally.
It's a really tough lane. Dual melee against Snap is always bad, and the AM is not really pressured, as you mentioned, up against that Shaker. Cuckoo is stuck in a very bad spot. He's saving up for his bottle, but he's not finding last hits. He's not slowing down the AM. And they just constantly manage to get this farm on a bot. A bot is going to find some good timings in the Battle Fury, and on top of that, he still has the Empower from Ares that he could play with as well. So if Among Us don't reel in this lane, it's going to be a runaway start for Cignal, and that means a very active AM early on. It's a bit of a shame, and that just allows a bot, Abed, sorry, to go back to his jungle. Gosh, this is going to be a hard one, isn't it? A bot and Abed in the same game. Oh yeah. Whew, it's going to be a fun one, Mike. Going to be a fun one. Still 2-0, 1k lead in their end. They're finding farm on their AM, although it has kind of slowed down. A bot's farm is actually not comparing to IYD. IYD is at 34-6 somehow, so our Spectre is still off to a very good start. Van just not doing as much as we'd expect, and they're constantly keeping pressure mid. You can see JMC drop low, which means Grims has to be here. Now Ares has to TP in with a bottle refill, which means the side lanes kind of free up, and that's actually working in favor for Among Us for now. They're somehow bouncing through because the supports are sort of tied in mid. It's a close one. About playing on the edge, so is Cuckoo, but doesn't pay off. Still, our Shaker, I mean, he's been finding some CS. It's still 14-1 compared to our aim's 39-18. So Cuckoo's gonna have to find the farm for the Blink elsewhere. It looks like he might play in the jungle. Again, he's gonna be sharing that jungle with Abed, and down mid, speaking of Abed, JMC's already committed the Exorcism. So slowly tickling away at that mid tier 1, not finding a kill, though.
Dreams is kind of my jam. Do you even practice?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
definitely is. And the least is that your AM's finding this farm, your AM's building up into the Battle Fury really quick, so already has that Ring of Health, just working on to the 3 other parts. We haven't even seen Eris go in for the Empower on that AM, so this is all just Abed finding that farm by himself, and, you know, they're still finding kills.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Feed my beautiful sisters.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
JMC's just on point with that spell usage, exactly what you'd want to see. Just getting the objectives out, and we always mention that when you're kind of playing that DP. Now, I think I heard about uses Mana Void on a camp. Yeah, that's fair. It's not like Abed should be farming, should be fighting anyway. So, I guess if you're not looking to blow someone up, that's fine. Like, he already failed at Cuckoo once. I guess he's traumatized enough to just use it for farming, having more impact. That's true. This is where Among Us' draft also falls flat. You look at IYD down bot by himself, trying to shove that wave in and trying to push. It's not a fast push here, not until your TA gets Desolator, and Abed is opting for Blink first, of course. So it's going to be a while until Among Us can actually start to really pressure these towers. We also have a Haunt available, but you don't have Egg, you don't have a Blink in your Shaker, you don't have any good opportunities to just kind of go and fight right now. So this is a spell that Among Us is just going to sit on, and unlike an AM, you can't really use Haunt for farming efficiency.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We've seen a couple of times before. A long time ago when Veil was really good. There was one patch where it was absolutely dominant, and literally everyone was building Veil. We have seen it, but it's been such a long time for it, specifically on DP as a rush. AUS just gives you so much more regen. You can play with your Spirit Siphon a bit better. In this case, though, what is there to purge off? There's no Orchid timing they're watching out for. There's no silences coming out naturally. It's a pretty good game to just be offensive. I think Cignal understands that. As long as they play fast here, they can start to melt down IYD, and they are hunting him down.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Crushing dreams is kind of my job.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has been destroyed.
For heresies unknown, the temple decreed your death.
Oh, for sure. 6-3, 2k lead on Cignal Ultra side. They're starting to play with its AM with Empower, saving into the Battle Fury, so Abed's farm is just pretty ridiculous. I mean, you know, Abed is up there as well, but that's a TA, has the Blink, and does clear out these camps with, you know, something that feels like Splash, feels like a cleave from a Battle Fury. So the fact that Abed is being allowed to build up like this, and I love seeing this as well. Eris TP's in, empowers Abed, then Abed just leaves for himself. So just the small efficiency plays that you've pointed out, right? Down from using Mana Void to farm, up to these movements for their Magnus. Cignal is really just trying to max maximize this map as best as possible. And they're just waiting until these spells are back up. So JMC and Van are just farming up, no pressure because they don't have Ravage and Exorcism. This should be the moment where Among Us fights. It's just their lineup still needs to farm. Cuckoo still about 200 gold away from his Blink. And of course, Abed with his Desolator is still just about 1.6k away. So perhaps once you have that Blink plus the Deso on Abed as well, you can start to look at fights. But for now, it's definitely Cignal Ultra's game.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh, snap!
Kurde byłem od ty! Kurde byłem od ty! Będzie!
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Have to be a bit careful. Ravage is up, RP is up once they have mana, and Exorcism's up. So if you catch them clumped up here, might go the other way for Among Us.
Radiant are scanning.
Ouchie!
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
An interesting choice to smoke here from Cignal as well. It's just Grims and Van, but they are smoked up. They have a fresh Blink under Tide. Now, Among Us does
Radiant's
clear at
bottom
bottom
tower
tier 1,
has
but that
fallen.
gives Cignal information. They know where the players are. Maybe they catch one, but it looks like they're just going for a Warden run, although...
Invisibility.
Bounty.
Dire's top tower is under
Oh
attack.
no. Oh.
Double kill.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they just use all their spells once more. The Blink reveal on Van working out in the best way possible. You're also going to see Eris with a Blink in the next fight. That fight gave him just enough to buy out his Blink right now. So he's going to have it flying in soon. Magnus Blink RP is in play. Blink Ravage in play. It's going to be hard to fight into that.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Ooh.
Shaman has fallen to the dungeon. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's good knowledge from Among Us, knowing that the cooldowns are still up on those big ults, and Cignal Ultra, when those ults are expended, they can't really fight well, right? Like, your aim's still looking to farm up. A bot is just using this time to work into that Manta style, but the rest of your team's just not ready. Now they have Ravage and RP, they could try to go.
I didn't want to hurt him, yet you forced my hand.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's courier has been killed.
Pleasant, if fleeting.
Yeah, it's a lot more tempo on Among Us. Again, they have to play fast, and IYD again. Yeah, it's still a good kill to get for Cignal. Like, you might say, yeah, Ravage is a long cooldown, it's just one hero. It's the one hero that really matters. You're keeping that Spectre away from farming. There's really not much IYD is building up into right now, tied up in farm, along with the DP, which is not where you want to be. So this game is becoming about Abed hitting his timings. I mean, he's got this Blink Deso. They need to get a little bit more from his Aegis, maybe find some more objectives. Abed is looking to secure the top tier 1, but that's not an objective Cignal Ultra cares for. They're just happily farming up. They still maintain a 3k lead, and Among Us need to look to make something happen when the Echo is back up in Cuckoo. They're going to have that in about 20. The Haunt's going to be available at the same time, so they can look to make a play while that Ravage and Haunt is down.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh boy.
You never could keep a secret.
And those are really big kills, like that death on Jamesy evens out the network down to just 1k of a difference. Really good double damage usage there from Abed as well. Thank you, Resurrection, for showing us. And they transition to the mid-tier too. They've got the room to do that. The Fortify is forced out. They still hold the Aegis for about a minute. So there's a lot of room here for Among Us to force the fight. Now, Ravage is going to be back up. And once this DP is back up, Exorcism is going to be ready. We do have the Kisses and the RP. So you do have to watch your spacing here if you're Among Us. But Cignal Ultra looks like they're being a bit cautious in the back first.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm surprised with the Halberd pickup here for about rather early on. Like, there is a lot of damage here from Abed, but I think you were looking for your AM to have a little bit more damage on hand as well, to really try to rip and tear through that IYD Spectre. Now, it's still far behind, but this might give some openings. They should still be able to melt down that AM with focused magic damage. It takes a lot more because it is an AM, but they are focusing their spells fairly well here from Among Us. We'll see if Abad's build-up is going to play out in the end. They didn't manage to quite punish Abed for overextending, and Among Us now find themselves with a slight 1k lead. So the AM on Cignal Ultra's side is absorbing all this farm, but it is starting to come at the cost of their other cores. JMC and Van's farm have stagnated. They have not progressed as much, and it starts to become the AM show. So this investment has to pay off, and we talked about the issues in draft where, you know, some of these supports might want a little bit more farm. I think you want your Snapfire here to have the Ags upgrade down the line. You're going to want to bring that space out somehow and get that going for yourself, and kind of just need to find a space out now. And even Eris, right, on that Magnus. So it has the blink, which is fair enough, but you need some aura items now here as well. Maybe a Guardian Greave down the line, maybe a pipe to help you tank through some of that burst damage should help out the cause if they can find that farm.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Monster kill!
Oh no. Oh boy. Cignal Ultra, that's their lead cleanly gone now. Among Us bouncing back, 4k in the lead. Really rather strange usage of that Heaven's Halberd. It was popped early, but they didn't really make the moves onto Abed. They focused elsewhere. Their combination did manage to catch Among Us off guard, but March is not the ideal. And IYD is fairly tanky. This is the issue I was talking about. Your AM is actually not doing as much damage because of this Halberd Manta buildup. It's a little bit more on utility and slipperiness, but you don't have the raw damage output to control the Spectre, and it's just difficult now.
My blades and my mind are as one.
Oh my god.
Not meant to be.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh, you love to see it. The confident pick on the TA. It had a slower start, but Abed was always kind of top 2, top 3 in effort. They never contested that jungle, and that's something you said Cignal Ultra needed to get done. They kept eyes on IYD, but at this point, the Spectre's not really a major factor. All the Spectre needs to do is survive. It has been surviving. That is without the level 20 talent here as well. And once more, Among Us get to dive into Roche. There is an RP and Ravage though, once Van is back in, so they could try to contest, but they need to move fast. They won't have time.
Sean has fallen to the bounty.
Even this has its limits.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
That's just beautiful. It's everything you could ever ask for here. A lot of damage that can fly through. Even the quickening charm is going to be nice for Among Us. Especially if they do manage to get that, say, on... I don't know, Cuckoo sounds good? No? Oh no, oh no.
It was your own damn fault.
Oh boy. That was like a horror film, you know? He's trying to run in the forest, but that killer just wouldn't give up, Mike, and Cuckoo. It's the dagger, the vision you get when you chase an AM when the spectral dagger is there. The trail it leaves behind makes it so easy to figure out where that AM is, and Cuckoo just knew the pattern. He knew where he'd go. Game sense is kicking in, and Among Us, nice big kill. That's keeping this AM even further down, not in the spot where he wants to be, falling behind Abed. They lose a tier 2, and the high ground is now very open for Among Us to look at. They've got the Aegis, they've got the cheese, they've got all the options on hand. High ground is going to be ripped through here.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Not meant to be.
What have we? Galaxies hunt.
But definitely, and they pull out at the perfect time because Abed just flies out his his Daedalus. So and he's gonna be melting right through, and look. Yeah, that's the fresh Daedalus, Mike. You get a couple of good hits, the Orb of Destruction as well. That's a Tide Hunter. It's supposed to be tanky, but it's not. It just melts. Abed. It's terrifying now, and this is why you don't let that TA free farm. They were hunting IYD, but they left that jungle all alone, and Abed was just completely fine with that trade.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is fortified.
Yeah, it was a strange set of events there. Cuckoo could not blink in. He was just waiting in the back. There were some moments, especially during that Aegis respawn, where he could have gone in, get the Echo Slam off. He might have been looking for an even bigger one, but he had at least a 2 to 3 man Echo on hand. And with that kind of bounce back in, Cignal, they're going to set their eyes down an objective, trying to go for that tier 2. The issue is the creep wave's a bit too far behind. They have this Abyssal now up on Abad, so he can take control. This is the added damage, added control we were looking for. It's just that the objectives are holding out for a bit longer, so they might be able to find a tier 2. The high ground not so clear as the respawns are starting to wind in.
This phase of your journey.
Oh.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom has fallen.
That he is, just ripping right through him. They leave him behind the range racks in the end because they don't want to look at it fall onto the tier 4s. And Cignal, the best they'll have is a 3-man defense because those respawns in the Tide and the DP are way too long. And even then, once this AM's up, they're gonna lose the tier 4s. Maybe they feel like the Ancient's gonna hold out, but they've got to do something here. Oh. No. Oh boy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That is... Well, it was well played. Yeah.